assignment continues. I hope you fare well. Welcome back, Mantis.
Damn, you tracked blood all over my damn floor again earlier.
So, who are you exactly? What's your story?
I am no one.
Well,
By design.
did you not?
There has always been and always will be an agent number one to lead us. Upon assuming the mantle, one loses all traces of identity, including all of one's records and history, even gender and voice. You can imagine, many would seek to do harm to one in this position. To protect family and associates, our identity is more than confidential. It is eliminated from existence.
How did you wipe out your entire records and history?
I will simply state that our partnership with the United Colonies and Freestar Collective comes with some powerful tools.
No real name, huh? So, how do people refer to you in general?
They call me Agent Number One, or Agent No One. Use they or them when speaking about me, just to protect my identity. However, that had already been my preference.
Oh, of course. It's a woman. That's... I understand using they and them in this case because they literally have no identity. We're not supposed to know what they are. But, like, I hate to be rude, but, like, the fact that they said that that was my preference to begin with is automatically me knowing, oh, it was a woman. I can also tell from the voice. The modulation only does so much. Was it difficult to give up your identity?
Yes and no. When one attains this position, ties to family and other associates are cut off. That is the most difficult aspect. As far as anyone knows, my former self is dead. Records of my life are mysteriously lost. I assume that is difficult for those one leaves behind. However, I am fortunate that I did not have many family, associates, or records to lose. My name was no great loss, nor were other aspects of my identity. I never conformed to gender, for instance. For me, it was an easy decision.
Yeah, well, I hope I don't need to lose mine.
As a rank-and-file tracker, it is not a requirement, but it is advised, for the safety of those you know. For a leader such as myself, it is an absolute necessity for the safety of the entire organization. Know that to attain my position of leadership, it was a combination of deeds, competency, professionalism, and above all, trust.
So what's the difference between an agent and a regular old tracker?
An agent takes on a more administrative role, whereas trackers primarily work in the field. Often, when time and age catches up with the tracker, they become an agent, as their experience and wisdom is valued, and it can be difficult to re-assimilate into society. Both roles are equally crucial to our operation.
Why does a formal organization like the Trackers even exist?
After the Narian War, there were issues with extrajudicial vigilantism involving bounty hunting. The Trackers Alliance was formally established and sanctioned by the Freestar Collective and the United Colonies as a way to combat this growing problem. The governments of the settled systems hire us for our specialized skills and allow us to operate largely unhindered in exchange for holding us accountable. This mutual trust is rarely breached.
Can you tell me any more about bringing in targets alive?
Certainly. It's largely the same whether you're finding targets of opportunity with your scanner, taking on an elite tracker bounty mission, or going after a target of interest. After you've convinced your target to surrender, or subdued them through non-lethal force, you can register them with the system. Registering them lets either local law enforcement or a specialized tracker know to come transport them away.
What if the target runs after I register them?
With someone on their way, your target would not get far. It would be charged with additional felonies. It would only be worse for them.
Nice. Will someone always come, no matter where I am?
Yes. I won't go into the particulars, but even if you are in the furthest reaches of space, someone will eventually be directed to pick up your target.
And who are these specialized trackers?
We have trackers who specialize in prisoner escort and detainment, rather than what we're asking you to do. They have the ships and equipment required to ensure successful handoff to the appropriate authority.
motto. Leave no quarter, show no mercy. Isn't bringing them in alive showing mercy?
I can see why you would ask, but no. Criminals are punished by the justice system depending on their crimes. Some of those punishments can be harsh. Not everyone in the Alliance feels the same about the motto, as it's a bit of a holdover from older times. It's more of a tradition, and it serves as a reminder to never give up and pursue your targets to the end of the universe, so they can face justice one way or another.
Sounds like you've got it all figured out.
Our system works pretty well for us. Until you
That's
return.
it. Okay. See ya. Talk to Tank, we talked to that cringe.
Well,
They said there was a downstairs.
I've been thinking about getting back out there. Hunting again.
Oh, you know that I value your work.
yes, speak quickly.
Oh god, there's so many more people down here.
Death. I have seen tragedy. I have seen more beg for their lives than I can count. But what I haven't seen is a fledgling tracker seemingly so willing and eager to speak with me so soon after joining. What knowledge do you hope to gain from our interaction?
I do. Thank you for understanding. And
Mostly I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Mantis.
Indeed, a strong name. I am Yama. I borrow this name from the god of the dead, who judges the souls I usher to him.
What kind of advice do you have for a new tracker?
I must warn you, my advice may not be palatable.
I think I can handle it.
I hope those are not just words. I strongly insist that you consider heeding my advice. If you are given the choice between bringing your targets in alive or dead, always choose dead. Criminal fugitives must be brought to justice, and the only way to truly serve that justice is to end their lives so that they can be judged fairly in the afterlife.
You're saying you never bring your targets in alive.
Correct. A criminal fugitive is already trying to run from justice. They will do it again, if given the chance. It is in their nature. Would you allow even a slim chance that they escape again? Even if they turn from their criminal path, would you deny their victims true justice?
Under your belief, they would still face judgment at the end of their life.
That is true, and yet, the thought that they would go unjudged for so long would eat away at me. But I realize that may not be your belief, so I will not try to convince you any further.
You must have some interesting stories, huh?
My stories are not for your amusement. But I will share one so that you may learn from my mistake. There was one time I decided to let a man live. He had a family, a wife, 3 children. He showed me a picture. They looked happy. He begged I let him live and spend the rest of his days incarcerated. So, at least he could see them occasionally and watch his children grow up from afar. He escaped from prison. He went home and murdered his entire family, and the family next door, and several others. By the time I found him again, he had killed himself, robbing me of the chance to pass him off to face his eternal judgment. Never again.
Okay. Can you tell me about yourself?
There is not much I wish to divulge. Whatever you have heard about me is likely true. I do not bring back my targets alive. I aim for brutal efficiency. I do not work well with others. You must know, I do not feel the need to appease or delight anyone. I take jobs no one else wants, and I always get it done. That is my value. Leave no quarter, show no mercy.
Yeah. Stash. Gee, I wonder why they call
How
him
about
that.
that? We got a new tracker in the building. Name's Stash, and I'm more than just a pretty face. You ever need my help, you can step right over here to my little corner and we can talk shop. Whether it's for business or pleasure, that's up to you.
Your name's Stash because you got a stash of equipment, right? Kind of on the nose, isn't it?
No, and yes. No, it's Stash, like my mustache. Yes, it's kind of on the nose, like my mustache. Well, under it, but you get the idea. But yeah, it does work out like that, doesn't it? You're not the first to suggest it, and I doubt you'll be the last. And before you ask, no, I didn't grow the stash because I got a stash of goods or vice versa. Sometimes nicknames just stick.
Can you tell me more about what you do here?
I tinker. I make, modify, and refurbish weapons and other equipment. For trackers only. But I don't do it for free, and I don't do it for credits either. I only take Astras. And you get whatever I give you. No questions, no special requests, no refunds.
What are Astras?
I was hoping you'd ask. Back during the Narian War, there was some serious concern that the banks were going to fail. So some enterprising individuals took matters into their own hands and started minting their own currency, Astras, just in case the worst came to pass. Anyway, Astras are rare, but they're out there, still used in some black market circles since they're untraceable by any government.
What kind of equipment do you have?
Guns, melee weapons, lethal, non-lethal, suits, you name it. All with my own modifications.
Sounds good. I think I can work with that.
Good. And we're on the same page. Mantis, you're making me nervous. Like you've gone into silent predator mode or something.
Tracker like you must have some great stories, huh?
Matter of fact, I do. But the most interesting ones aren't from my tracker field work. Instead, I'm gonna take you back in time to my youth. See,
Oh,
I was
boy.
a scrappy little neon street rat. I tinkered, built homemade weapons, and armor made out of scraps I came across. You can imagine who might buy that sort of thing. That's right. Gangbangers and other lowlives. I saw what they used these weapons for. But I had to make money. And it kept me safe from the gangs because they needed me.
How'd you go from that to being a tracker?
Well, I never did care much for those gangs. The way they preyed on folks weaker than them. So, when I found out about the trackers, I decided on a career change. Turns out I wasn't much for following rules. They said I was a bit of a loose cannon. But they liked my equipment, so here I am, peddling wares for other trackers.
Loose cannon? How so?
Well, when you grow up on the neon streets, you learn to fly by the seat of your pants. That doesn't always jive with protocol, even by tracker standards. Too much collateral damage. Don't worry, no one died. But let's just say I may have temporarily increased the homeless population. Anyway, I like what I do now. I'm putting my technical skills to use in a way that Trackers Alliance appreciates.
Right. Well, I was, really hoping for more of a cool bounty hunting story.
Yep, me too. Sorry to disappoint, but my days as a tracker in the field were pretty limited. But, hey, as a consolation, I have plenty of great gear you can buy. And that's a better use to you than some old tall tale.
Oh, I suppose. Let's see what you got.
I got all sorts of equipment. Let's see those Astras.
Oh. Interesting. Hold on, actually.
No problem. Lay it on me. Catch
We'll
you
come back to
around.
that. It sounds like he just kind of gives you a random piece of junk item.
If you're here
Not quite ready to have that thrown at me yet.
wasting your time, old man.
Alright, well, then we got flaps. Nice, standard flaps and long flaps. Cool.
I got it from
Focus
Stash.
nozzle.
Traded that old currency he deals in.
Ripping stock, eh?
I can't
Oh,
confirm
large shield.
that.
Ain't that something?
Huh.
You give him junk money, and he gives you high-quality gear.
I
Does
can
actually
confirm
change the
that
look.
too.
I have no qualms with it.
Accelerants.
Of course, I
Increased rate of fire, but less accurate.
no one outside of him deals in it anymore.
Huh.
You guys can hear me, right? It's like I said before, I'm collecting it because when it comes back into circulation, I'll have a huge supply of it.
Yeah, we hear you. I just don't think any of us believe it'll make a comeback after 100 years. But hey, you do you, Stash.
Yeah, we'll see. Just because you don't know anyone who deals in it doesn't mean it's worthless. I
Damn.
know.
I was really kind of hoping that these items would have added something to the item instead of just looking, you know, identical, like 100% completely identical. Yeah, that's a little disappointing. I'm sure that's something the mods will fix, right? Leave it to Bethesda to half-ass this. Literally. Like, that's so disappointing. Like, they could have. They could have, if they wanted to, improved this significantly, but they just chose
What's
not
the
to.
word, Mantis?
Like, at
Need
all.
some new equipment?
Like, it's cool that you've got, like, you know, raise damage, lower attack speed. Like, that's interesting. Raise attack speed, lower damage. Like, those are all neat effects, but you could have, you know, done something a little better with it. I don't know. Maybe that's just
Hey
me.
now, Dragger.
But it's definitely disappointing. So that stuff really could have been, could have made melee a bit more interesting. Kind of spiced up the melee scene a little bit, but I guess not.
I miss tracking. But hanging around
Not as
here
much as
is
you,
just
bud.
as good.
Still trying to get the hang of things.
Take a load off. Have a cold drink. Unless you have somewhere better to be.
You really making it?
Well, you're a new face. Ain't every day we get fresh meat for the grinder. What do we call you, Tracker?
Practice your skills and make some extra credits while you're at it. Hey, you should try it sometime. Unless you're afraid you can't.
Should I be going around giving my name like that?
Hey,
Of course, sunshine. That's the whole point of the call signs. So we know who's who without giving real names.
how would you hit the button there? I don't know. With my head, if I
Well,
have.
it's the same old face I've always had.
Okay,
Oh,
big man.
that's not what you meant, is it?
Something I think about.
Should have seen that one coming. I appreciate a tracker with a sense of humor. It's a nice change from the usual. A lot of them around here are all brooding, strong, silent, I work alone types. It's refreshing to talk to someone who ain't.
You can call me Mantis.
Mantis? Not like the Mantis, though, right? You know what? Better to leave it a mystery. What can I get for you, Mantis? Oh, where are my manners? They call me Two-Shot, or even Touche for short. Used to be a tracker in the field like you. But I traded in gunslinging for slinging drinks. I sell drinks to wet your whistle and other provisions you may need out there. So what'll it be?
I'm not calling you Touche. When did you get a name like Two-Shot?
Funny you ask. Most trackers choose their call signs. So did I. Used to be called Solar Flare. But enough people started
Lame.
calling me Two-Shot that it stuck. When I was out there, it never took me more than 2 shots from my firearms to bag my target. Thought I would have given it up once I retired from tracking to have a kid. I pour such strong drinks that now they say it doesn't take any more than 2 shots to down a tracker. So, it's stuck. I'm just happy they decided to keep me on the payroll.
Got a kid, huh? Ah, I guess we're just not going to talk about that. Working here, you must know a lot about the other trackers, right?
You know it, Sunshine. Who do you want to know about?
Oh. What's the story with Agent Number 1?
There's no story there. That's kind of the point with any Agent No One. You gotta give up your identity completely when you become leader of the trackers. That job comes with a giant target on your back. So, the less people know, the better. Agent No One is like a closed book. If that book were also glued, clamped, chained, and buried underneath an active volcano on the most distant moon of the most distant planet of the furthest star system.
What's with Inevitable?
Oh, she's been doing this longer than anyone, I think. She's old, but don't count her out just yet. Rumor is she was next in line for Agent No One, but turned it down after the last one was killed. She even brought the killer to justice. Word is, she just liked fugitive recovery a lot more. Or didn't want the responsibility. I lean more towards the latter. It makes more sense considering she's an agent now. Anyway, they used to say that the longer she bides her time, the more a fugitive has to fear.
What's the deal with Roach?
He talks a big game, even has the skills and stats to back it up. But you probably also know as well as I do that he is fiercely competitive. You can either play into it or ignore it. He's not that bad once you get to know him. You ever wonder why he's called Roach, huh? It's because he seems to be unkillable. Not literally, of course, but he's managed to get himself out of some extremely sticky situations unscathed.
I thought he was just gross. What about Tank?
He's a big teddy bear. Such a departure from the norm around here. Oh, I also know he's run the Red Mile under his tracker call sign, which may get him into trouble with someone someday, but it's his decision.
Stash, what about him?
He fancies himself a charmer, let me tell you. Could talk a heat leech out of an overworked engine compartment. Don't tell him I told you, but he's a bit of a tracker fanboy. Never could quite hack it himself, but that's why he's still here. I bet he could talk your ear off about tracker history and stuff. Lord knows my ears feel a little looser after talking with him.
Gross. What's the deal with that Warden guy?
Oh, he isn't exactly the conversational type. Seems to enjoy the company of others, but not talking to them or interacting with anyone in any meaningful way. We just leave him alone and let him do his thing. He doesn't bother us, and we don't bother him. Other than that, I don't know much about him. Seems to be a good tracker, though.
Weird. What can you tell me about Yama?
Other than his obsession with death, I don't know much about him. He doesn't exactly open up to others. Everyone says he must have seen or done some pretty terrible things. I don't have anything to go on but that. You know, it takes a lot to make me uncomfortable, and even though he's never done anyone here any harm, or even so much as let anyone down, he still gives me the creeps.
Oh, I guess that's it.
Suit yourself.
Now, what do you got?
Whatever you want, Sunshine. As long as you've got a cred stick and a stomach that can handle it.
She sells weapons. Of course she does. She sells an EM shotgun, you know, because that makes sense. She does sell a Trackers Alliance suit, which is handy. And the pack, and the helmet to go with it. And then all of the food and medicine, yeah, so...
You need anything, Bloodhound?
Nah, I'm good, Touche. Hey, how's the kiddo, by the way?
She's doing great. She just lost another baby tooth. Yeah, she's really starting to read, too. Her dad's teaching her.
How about that? I remember when she was yay high and could barely speak. Oh, bless your heart. You must be proud.
She's the light of my life. You know, she's why I'm not out there anymore. Can't put her at risk, you know? I'll just, have to live vicariously through the trackers that stole through here.
I hear that. Well,
What's...
you know, anyone stupid enough to go after your girl would see us rain fire down on them faster and more ruthless than the wrath of hell itself.
I know. All the same, it was time to get out anyway. Thanks, though.
Well, howdy, Tracker. Well, if it ain't, now what call sign did you take again?
Your mom. I know this isn't the first time I've visibly face-palmed playing this game, but that one fucking kills me. Your mom. Like, come on, dude. What are we, fucking 6? Do I need to share it with you?
If you want to chat with me, yeah. I know we don't do real names as part of the job, but I'd like to know who I'm talking to, if you don't mind.
Mantis.
Mantis? Huh. Could be confusing with the real Mantis out there, but, why not? Well, I can see why you'd take that name. You got my seal of approval. Not that you need it. Name's Bloodhound. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Got any good stories?
Loads. But let me tell you just one. So, I'm down at some ass-backwards moon outpost out in the boonies. Got this old feller in my sights who's wanted for thieving from Ryujin and the other big corpos. Now, he don't know I ain't gonna shoot him, but he's itching to do something stupid. Then his kids come out. His grandkids form a circle around him. Turns out, he's stealing so they can all just have a life. I get it. So I let him go. Far as the corpos know, he's dead.
You were hired to do a job and you failed. I probably would have done the same.
Yep, I got cussed out pretty good. But sometimes, it's worth it to do some good in the verse.
Don't call it the verse. Got any bounty hunting tips?
Sure, I'm a veritable wealth of information. Anything particular on your mind?
Wow. I don't know, you got anything in general?
Well, it ain't what I'd call hot tips, but they serve me well. Eat right, stay hydrated, exercise, you know, just stay healthy. Don't hunt if you're sick. Last thing you want is an errant cough or sneeze to give you away when you're trying to use the element of surprise.
That is true. I do think coughing actually gives you away in this game. What's the best way to take someone in alive?
Personally, I prefer the diplomatic approach. Just because we're all certified badasses who could easily lay out the toughest spacer punk doesn't mean you're not human. If you ask me, words are a tracker's most effective tool. You'd be surprised how far a little sympathy can take you sometimes. And failing that, most targets are cowards. They don't want to die. Exploit that fact when you can.
How do you deal with a target who gives you no choice but to kill them?
Now that's a tough one. Depends on the situation. If you can't convince them with words, you may have to rough them up and put the fear of God in them. I suggest you learn as much as you can about human anatomy and physiology. It ain't pretty,
Jesus.
but there are many things you can do to a body that ain't lethal, but may cause someone to wish they were.
That's actually really smart. I think I'm good for now.
You got it, Chief.
Tell me about yourself, Bloodhound.
Sure. I don't mind sharing a little about myself, but, not too much. I'm no agent number 1, but I'm still a tracker. Been a tracker for over 30 years. Before that, I was what you might call a freebooter. I won't tell you what I did, but sure as hell wasn't above board. Well, suffice to say, that life can weigh on your soul. After a few close calls and some introspection, I came to the idea that I could do some good instead. Of course, it's hard to translate those kind of skills to the workforce, so here I am. Always saw to it to bring in my targets alive, in case they have any similar revelations.
You really always bring your targets alive, huh? Isn't that hard?
Yep, every single time. It ain't too hard when you've lived my life and seen the things I've seen. Folks deserve a second, third, even fourth chance. I'm living proof of that. Tell me, let's say someone puts a bounty on your head that you rightfully didn't deserve, or maybe you slipped up and had a bad day. You think it's right that they get to play executioner?
Give me the wanted perk, give me the wanted perk. Wow, really? The one time the wanted perk would make sense here, and they didn't do it. Shocking. It's almost like that happens more often than you think. I mean, it doesn't matter. It sounds like the decision would be out of my hands at that point.
Well, there's the thing. You are gonna be out there deciding over some poor fool's life. If that don't make one feel like they got the power of God in them, I don't know what will. All I'm saying is you gotta use that power responsibly, because you gotta live with yourself. Anyway, you're gonna do you, and I won't judge. Don't come crying to me if you can't reckon with your own demons. Good luck out there.
You tracked blood in all over my damn floor again earlier.
Yes, that was likely me.
Well,
He's just sitting over in the corner meditating like a fucking
I
weirdo.
mean, look at you now.
Uh.
There's a speck of blood on you. You clearly know how to clean
Is
up
free
after
money to
yourself.
take? Yes,
For you,
it is.
I will try
Cool.
to be more careful, but I make no promise.
Agent Koyos, at your service.
Oh?
Keep it quick, and don't waste my free cycles.
Koyos? Does that stand for something?
No, it is a pseudo-acronym meant to emphasize my station as hardware and software. My programmer thought it would be clever, but clearly it goes over most heads. Koyos was a Greek Titan god, born of Uranus and Gaia. He was known as a Titan of knowledge and queries. But I wouldn't expect you to know that.
What do you do here?
Mostly stand around waiting for someone to interact with me.
Jesus
I am
Christ.
connected to the tracker database, so when a tracker
Just stand
either
around.
has or needs information about a certain target, they come to me. My directive is to assist trackers with any queries they have, and if desired, give advice based on the information we have compiled. Leave no
That's
quarter,
it.
show no mercy.
Rough life for him. Wanted dead. We want him dead. Interesting. I was told there was an advanced missions board somewhere. Whoa, dude! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Put your gun away.
How's your
What are you
gear
doing?
holding
It's doing fine, sir. It's doing fine. Put the gun down. I love how the 1911 just doesn't fit in that pose. It's really goofy. Where?
Them to get some old school perspective.
Employees only behind this point. Where's the advanced one? I was told there was an advanced board.
You've helped us recruit some quality candidates. Are you certain about this?
I believe so. I want to take advantage of the time I've got while I still have some fight left in me. I would still continue my duties as an agent, of course.
If that is what you would like, who am I to stop you? There are few I trust more than you. This you know.
I do. Thank you for understanding. And for your ransom. I don't mind.
Not really seeing much else. Upstairs bathroom, another exit. I guess that shitty little board down there was the advanced board. It didn't say it was.
Pull up a seat. There's no judgment here.
But, I guess it is. Oh. Jesus. Yeah, I guess this just is the mission board. Alright, well, we got a criminal on Boar, which I'm pretty sure is like the furthest fucking planet out, so we'll take that. Got another one here, and then just wipe them out. I also think they added a bunch of research shit that we have to do, right? I mean, there's all this crap that I just never bothered with. Outpost development. Power generation 3. Was that a thing before? I don't remember this. This must be new. And then outpost defense 2.
I've been thinking about getting back out there.
These things must be new. Either that or I completely ignored them. Then weaponry. Yeah, we've got ammunition.
Are you certain about this?
Requires copper.
believe so.
Yeah, put the copper in.
I want to take
Okay.
advantage of the time
Lead.
I've got while I still have some
Yeah.
fight left in me.
Small primer.
I would
Cool.
still
I
continue
guess
my
I need to
duties
go
as an
find new items. I love that.
There are few I trust more.
Blade mods, a little bit of iron, a little bit of
I do.
this, a little bit of
Thank you for
that.
understanding.
Boom, boom, boom. That leads to Blade Mods 2, which has a bunch of things that probably don't have. And then handle mods, yeah, so that's that. Very annoying. I guess there's new items that you have to go find. I'm assuming that's what those charged diodes are for. I'm guessing that's probably for laser ammunition or particle beam ammunition or something.
Couple bounties. Hope you're keeping up.
At least I can only imagine. But yeah, that seems to be it. I think that was everything that was added. Quite literally. Which is, you know, I don't want to say it's disappointing. It's definitely not.
Be careful if you run into those ecliptic jerks.
It wasn't the worst thing I played. Is it cringe? Oh, fuck yeah, it's fucking cringe. But it's definitely not the worst thing I played, no.